car. Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car. Then get out. No. Then get out. Car. Get out of the car.
Welcome back to Kingston Reviews. Derek here. Thank you guys for tuning in for another video. I also wanted to thank all the viewers for my last video short that's up to about 5,500 views. Really appreciate it. And I appreciate the new subscribers. I'm doing a push to try to get another 300 or 400 subscribers over the next 3 to 4 months. I would really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. It really helps me put out more content like this, helps me to be able to do some additional research, and helps me beat the algorithm. So really appreciate the comments, the likes, and subscribes. But today's video is going to be about Takiya Young. She's a young lady, 21 years old, that was shot by the police last year in Columbus, Ohio. I believe this is a justified homicide based on the fact that, number one, she was in the commission of a felony. She was shoplifting for alcohol. She was 25 weeks pregnant, from what I understand. What is a 21-year-old woman shoplifting alcohol for when she's 25 weeks pregnant? I have no idea. I believe that's real scumbag behavior. If you guys disagree with me, let me know otherwise, but that is scumbag behavior. There's no reason for her to be stealing alcohol when she's 25 weeks pregnant. So while she was doing this, apparently there were police in the parking lot working on something else. I think they were trying to help someone get into a vehicle. Kroger called the police. They just happened to be there in the parking lot at the same time and were able to accost her at her vehicle. One officer approached the side of the vehicle. The other officer approached the front of the vehicle. And then we see what ensues next, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But let's go ahead and look at CNN's coverage of this, on their online coverage of it, and just kind of see what they wrote about it. And you'll see that there's definitely a bias that they've put in here. Obviously, we're in the political season, right? And one of the really basic things they like to do is pit the black people against the police. They basically want to make it a black and white thing. This is a criminal police officer thing. This is not a black and white issue in this particular situation. I definitely want to hold the police accountable whenever they make big mistakes, where I think they've made some big mistakes with the Sonia Massey situation. This is not that. I think this is a situation where we just have someone that was doing criminal behavior. They were doing something stupid, and they got the stupid prize. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the first CNN article. Then we'll go ahead and watch the CBS news coverage of the actual situation. So thank you guys for tuning in again. So let's start off by taking a look at CNN's article here online. It starts off by saying, Ohio officer who fatally shot pregnant 21-year-old Takiya Young charged with murder. Now, just look at the headline of that, okay? It's not telling the full story. It should say officer fatally shoots shoplifter. Okay, that's what she was doing. She was a shoplifter. She tried to flee after committing a felony, and unfortunately, she lost her life due to that. Okay, we've got to have personal responsibility. I'm tired of people pretending like they don't know what's happening. They don't know what's going on. The reality of the situation is this young lady was in the commission of a felony. This is looks like a picture. Actually, it's a video, but this is the freeze frame of her in the car and the officer basically right in front of the vehicle. Now, I think this gets a lot of coverage from people talking about, well, why did he stand in front of the vehicle? Police officers are here to keep the peace. They're here to stop felonies, okay? When you have someone that's in a car and they're going to probably flee, standing in front of the car to you seems like putting yourself in harm's way, and it is, but police officers put themselves in harm's way every single day. And this is the way that they want you to stop. What's the better way to do it is to get in front of you and say, hey, stop. Now, any reasonable person would stop the vehicle, okay? If you're not reasonable, you're probably going to go forward, but he's got his firearm out. He's telling you to stop. A reasonable person would know that using that vehicle to go through that officer could be used as a deadly weapon. That vehicle could be a deadly weapon. And so in my opinion, she really deserves, what she gets from this situation. Once again, I don't want anyone to die, but if you're in the commission of a felony and then you're still not following the police instructions, and now you're potentially going to run over a police officer. And as you can see from this position, he's definitely in front of the car. What would she do to you? If she'll run over a police officer with her firearm out, what do you think she would do to you? She'd run right over you. If you guys disagree, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. But I'm telling you that in these situations, this person's been doing this for a while. They've done it other times. They'll do it other times in the future. And what's to stop her from the next time felony fleeing and hitting and running and killing someone? I believe they actually did everyone a favor in this situation and stopping her. Unfortunately, she did die, but that's her fault. If she had another person in the car with her and they were both a part of this felony, that person would be responsible for her death because they're involved in a felony in the first place. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys disagree with me, let me know. But this stuff seems so simple and straightforward, right? But let's look at what the article says. A police officer in suburb of Columbus, Ohio, was indicted by a grand jury on murder charges Tuesday in last year's killing of a pregnant woman who was suspected of shoplifting, according to the Montgomery County prosecutor. Now, they say suspected, right? And once again, we don't know all the details, but what I can tell you is that there's video of her taking things out of the in the store, putting it in a bag, and then leaving without paying. From what I understand, if that information is wrong, then it's wrong. But she's now in the vehicle. She's being stopped by the police. She needs to stop the car. I'm tired of people pretending like they're not. They don't have to obey the law. You've got to obey the law. Okay, you got to obey the instructions of a police officer, the lawful instructions of a police officer. So let's take a look at the article. Let's see here. We're down to the next line. So Takiya Young, 21, was fatally shot inside her vehicle by an officer in the parking lot of a Kroger grocery store in Blendon Township on August 24, 2023. Her unborn child did not survive. Now, the way that reads, you would think that she was just sitting in her car having a cup of coffee and the police just approached her. She has no idea. She was just shoplifting in the store. Okay, she's trying to flee. Fortunately for everyone, the police were already in the parking lot working on helping. I think they were helping someone else get into their vehicle that had got locked, and they were able to respond immediately. And that's how these officers were able to accost her, like right there in the parking lot. But if you can look at the way they're writing this, you can tell they're trying to build sympathy for the criminal here, and they're essentially trying to pit the black community against the police officers, which in a way is going to pit black people against the right, black people against Republican Party. That's essentially what they do. This is going to be one of those political issues in that area that helps sway black voters. Black voters are very emotional about their vote. They don't typically look at just the principles of what they're voting on. They look at who they're voting for. That's why they vote so much Democratic, that they're so concerned with racism and concerned with all these other issues that at the end of the day don't benefit them. If they think about what actually benefits their community and vote for the things that benefits them, they wouldn't have to worry about that. But let's go ahead and get into the actual video by CBS. Let's take a look at that.
A police officer is facing murder charges a year after he shot and killed a 21-year-old pregnant black mother who was suspected of shoplifting. A grand jury indicted the officer today for firing a single shot through the woman's windshield as she tried to drive away. CBS's Tom Hansen has the report and the body camera video.
So listen to that description. 21-year-old pregnant black woman just leaving the parking lot, right? That is such crap. That's why they call them the fake news networks, because they spin stories to talk about the things they want to talk about, to give the perceptions they want to talk about. And clearly what they're trying to do is to pit the black community against the police, which is essentially pitting the black community against more conservative values or against Republican values in a political season. Right, we're getting ready to be in a political season here, and they're going to start drumming these up, trying to drum up a lot of hate, drum up a lot of division between people. But this is a really simple story about a lady that was shoplifting that unfortunately lost her life because she doesn't listen to instructions. That's pretty much what this story's about. But let's go ahead and continue watching.
Out of the car. They said your stole stuff, do not leave. Get out.
Body camera video shows Glendon Township police officer Connor Grubb approach Takiya Young in her car outside an Ohio grocery store last year. Another officer orders her to get out.
Get out of the Get out of the car.
Instead, the 21-year-old rolled forward toward Grubb, who fired a single bullet through her windshield into her chest. Today, a grand jury announced Grubb is being charged with multiple counts of murder.
So, as you can see, just from that little video right there, the officer is clearly standing in front of the car when they accost her. A lot of people said, like, how did they get there so early? Well, essentially, they were in the parking lot helping with something else, and they got called by Kroger, I believe, or somebody called them out about the shoplifting. They were able to accost her right at her car as she was trying to leave. And if you're the police, your job is to stop crime. It's to stop the criminals. You don't just let them shoplift and keep going. So obviously you're going to stand in front of that vehicle, or you're going to try to find a way to stop them from leaving. Any rational person that has a police officer standing in front of their vehicle with their gun drawn saying, stop, get out of the car, don't move, they're going to follow those instructions. Okay, if she's willing to move forward and lurch and run over a police officer, what do you think she's willing to do to you? There were people in that parking lot. You saw a car driving by. There are people walking up and down. What do you think she would do if a kid was just crossing the street? The officer has a duty and a responsibility not to retreat, and in this situation to stop her. And that's what he did. Okay, she was a shoplifter. She was shot. Unfortunately, she passed away, and she took that room temperature challenge and lost. Okay, but that's because she was doing stupid things and she got the stupid prize. So let's be honest about those things, guys. Okay, let's be honest about it. Let's take some personal responsibility. The only reason why this guy got charged is because they're playing up on the black and white thing, trying to create division during a political season, right? They're getting ready for the election. They're trying to drum up a story that's almost a year old. It's almost a year old, and here we are still talking about it. A shoplifter that tried to run over a police officer. It's simple. Why? First of all, why is she pretending like she doesn't hear those demands? You're caught. Okay? They've got you on camera. They've got you at the car. Get out of your car. I have no sympathy for her in this situation. She should have got out of the car. She should have listened to the police officer. And then notice that there's 4 counts of murder here. Okay? So we've got, I'm assuming, the mother, and then her unborn child passed away. Now, how do we have that cognitive dissonance when we have, on one hand, the left will say, hey, abortion is not killing a baby, but in a case of situation like this, they're going to say that it's killing a baby. That's cognitive dissonance. We gotta keep things rational. We gotta keep things do the right things, and this is not right. What they're doing here. This has clearly been politicized, and you're going to have those race baiters coming into this thing and riling things up as we get closer. They're definitely looking for more incidents like this. You guys are going to see more incidents like this throughout the next 3-4 months before the election. If you guys like content like this, please don't forget to comment below. Right, a lot of you guys are watching the video. I had 5,500 views on my video short about this stuff, but I'm not getting a lot of comments. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think about it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps me kind of go out there and find more stories to talk about. But this stuff has got to stop. We got to stop pretending like we don't know what's going on. All right, let's go ahead and watch the rest of it.
Murder, involuntary manslaughter, and felonious assault.
We're not passing any judgment on whether Officer Grubb acted properly. We haven't seen the evidence.
Before the shooting, surveillance cameras recorded Young inside the store where police suspected she stole bottles of alcohol. Young was at least 25 weeks pregnant at the time of the shooting. The daughter she was expecting also died.
He didn't never have to pull that gun on her, ever. It wasn't called for.
Today, Young's grandmother called Grubb a bully with a badge.
I wanted to see Connor Grubb pay for what he did because it was wrong. It was wrong for him to take her and her baby out of here like he did.
So now I'm going to stop this video right here essentially because I'm trying to cover the news coverage, not the incident itself as much, but the news coverage off the situation and how they're spinning the story. I really hate it for any mother. I'm a parent myself, and I hate for any mother or any person to lose their kid. But she's got to understand that her daughter has personal responsibility here, right? There's too much of this, especially in the black community, where we see shit behavior, crap behavior, and instead of saying, hey, you know, this person was doing something bad, there's obvious repercussions and potential repercussions from that. They've got that repercussion, and now we're going to say it's because of something else. How about we try to do virtuous behaviors? How about we try to do good things and not worry so much about the other things? Then those things won't even become issues, right? If you're not shoplifting, you're not going to end up in a situation where police are going to want to shoot you. If you obey instructions when you're pulled over, 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to be in any kind of situation that's a potential, right? So let's be honest with these things. So as you guys can see, based on the videotape evidence that brief little information that we had there, even just looking at the video, which I'll go ahead and put up right here so that you guys can see that she is driving towards the officer. Now, he did move out of the way at the very end, but you got to understand, in that heat of the moment, there's a strong potential she could turn the wheel the other way and he could get run over, right? She is in the commission of a felony. So let's think about this for a second. If she was actually committing this crime with someone else in the vehicle, that other person, if they survived, would have been charged with a felony murder as well, because they were in the commission of a felony. And so the fact that they were in the commission of a felony of shoplifting and it resulted in the death of Takiya Young, that other person would be charged. Okay, so the police officer has every right to stop this person, right? He did the best that he could to stop it without violence. Unfortunately, she did lose her life. But how about in the future, she practiced some personal responsibility. She got caught, stopped, get out of the car, catch her charge, and keep it moving, all right? If you guys like content like this, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. A lot of you guys are watching, liking, some of you are commenting, and I really appreciate it. But please don't forget to subscribe. The subscribing definitely helps the algorithm. I'd really like to continue talking about stories like this, and you subscribing to the channel really motivates me to find more stories. If you guys have things that you want me to talk about, please go ahead and put that in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.
Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car.
7 back in service 1828.
Get out of the car. Then get out. No. Then get out.
Get out of the fucking car.
Get out of the car.
Get out of the fucking car.